Muhammad Ali. The greatest there are athletes, there are champions, there are legends. And then there is one man who was all of those things, and something more. Welcome to Top People. Today, Muhammad Ali, the greatest. He floated like a butterfly and stung like a bee. He was the most beautiful boxer of his era and the most terrifying opponent in the ring. He was louder than anyone, and he did what he said he would do. But Muhammad Ali is not just a boxer. He is a man who chose conscience over a championship belt, who chose prison over a war he believed was unjust, who chose truth when all of America demanded his silence. They called him the greatest athlete of the 20th century, but above all, he was a man who did not bend. Childhood. Cassius Clay, January 17, 1942. Louisville, Kentucky, USA, the American South. The era of racial segregation. Black and white. Different buses, different restaurants, different drinking fountains, different rights. A boy is born to sign painter Cassius Clay Sr. and housewife Odessa. They name him Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. His father painted signs for churches and stores. His mother cleaned the homes of white families. Money was scarce. Dignity plentiful. Cassius grew up in a world where the color of his skin determined everything, where police could stop him simply for walking down the street, where signs reading whites only were normal. He saw this every day, and every day something inside him resisted. At 12 years old, an event occurred that changed his life forever. Cassius came to a fair with his new bicycle. Red, beloved, the only thing of value he owned. When he returned, the bicycle was gone. Stolen. The boy was furious. He found a police officer, Officer Joe Martin, and said, breathless with rage, "When I find whoever stole it, I'm going to whoop them." Martin looked at him and replied calmly, "Son, you better learn how to fight first." Cassius Clay walked into the boxing gym the next day and never really left. First steps. Hunger and talent. Trainer Joe Martin saw something special in the boy immediately. Not strength. There was no particular strength. Not size. Cassius was a skinny teenager. Speed, reflexes, and something else. An unquenchable desire. A fire. Cassius trained like a man possessed. Mornings, running. After school, the gym. Evenings, running again. He gave up soda, sweet foods, anything he believed might slow him down. Within a year, he was winning amateur competitions. Within 3, he was the best junior boxer in Kentucky. 6 years after his first day in the gym, he stood on the podium of the Olympic Games. 1960, Rome, the Olympic Games. Cassius Clay, 18 years old, representing the United States of America. In the light heavyweight final, he faces Polish boxer Zbigniew Pietrzykowski. 3 rounds. Cassius dominates completely. The judges unanimously award victory to the American. A gold medal. He returned home a hero. Medal around his neck. Smile from ear to ear. And walked into a diner in Louisville. Whites only. He was turned away. An Olympic champion. A gold medal. And they still turned him away from a diner. According to legend, and Ali himself later told this story, in his fury he threw the gold medal into the Ohio River. Whether this is true or not is unknown, but the feeling, absolutely real. The professional. The ascent. In professional boxing, Cassius Clay arrived like a thunderbolt from a clear sky. He was unlike anyone. The boxers of his era stood upright, hands low. They absorbed punches. They answered force with force. Cassius danced, literally. He moved around the ring like a dancer, head always in motion, hands unexpectedly high, feet never still. Trainers laughed. Journalists wrote, "Beautiful, but it won't work." It worked. Victory after victory, knockout after knockout, and every time, words. Loud, bold, extraordinary. "I am the prettiest. I am the fastest. I am the greatest." He called the rounds in which he would win. And he won in exactly those rounds. The public hated him and could not look away because he did what he promised. By 1963, he was one of the top contenders for the world heavyweight title, and his next opponent was a man everyone feared. Liston, the fight that changed the world. Sonny Liston, two-time world heavyweight champion, former convict, a man with fists the size of small melons, one of the most fearsome boxers in history. Everyone thought, Clay is crazy. Liston will destroy him. The bookmakers were giving 7-1 odds in favor of Liston. Journalists wrote obituaries in advance. One famous reporter said plainly, "This boy is going to get killed in the ring." February 25th, 1964, Miami, Cassius Clay versus Sonny Liston, round 1. Clay moves, Liston swings, and misses. Again. Again. Round 2. The same. Round 3. Round. In the 5th round, something got into Clay's eyes, possibly a substance from Listo. He could barely see. He wanted to stop the fight. Trainer Angelo Dundee shouted, "Just run! Move! Don't let him hit you!" Clay moved, blind. He slipped punches. He survived. By the 6th round, his vision had returned, and Clay began to attack. After the 6th round, Liston did not come out of his corner. He quit, claimed a shoulder injury. Cassius Clay leapt onto the ropes and screamed to the whole arena, "I shook up the world! I shook up the world! I am the greatest!" He was 22 years old, and he had just become world heavyweight champion. A new name, a new faith. The day after the fight, Cassius Clay announced he had joined the Nation of Islam, and a few days later, he took a new name, Muhammad Ali. America in 1964 was not ready for this. The Nation of Islam was perceived as a radical organization. Its leader, Malcolm X, openly spoke of black supremacy, of confrontation with white America. The boxing world refused to acknowledge the new name. Journalists continued calling him Cassius Clay. He corrected every one of them. "My name is Muhammad Ali. Remember that." Over time, his relationship with the Nation of Islam and Malcolm X became more complicated. After Malcolm's assassination in 1965, Ali moved closer to more traditional Sunni Islam. But the new name stayed forever. Muhammad Ali was not just a champion, he was a symbol that a black man in America had the right to be himself, to have his own name, his own faith, his own identity. Vietnam. "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong." 1967. America is at war in Vietnam. Thousands of young Americans are dying in the jungles of Southeast Asia. Muhammad Ali receives his draft notice and refuses. His words traveled around the world. "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong. No Viet Cong ever called me nigger." He stated that his religious convictions forbade him from participating in war, that this war was unjust, that he would not kill people who had never done anything to him or to his people. The consequences were immediate and brutal. The Boxing Commission stripped him of his world title. His passport was confiscated. He could not travel abroad. He was charged with draft evasion. The court sentenced him to 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Muhammad Ali was at the peak of his career, 25 years old, undefeated world champion, and he lost everything in a single day. People asked him, "Aren't you afraid of prison?" He replied, "Prison is an injustice, but going to fight for a country that oppresses my people, that is the real injustice." For 3.5 years, he could not box. 3.5 years of the best years of his career gone. While other champions earned millions, Ali gave lectures at universities. He spoke about racism, about war, about justice. In 1971, the United States Supreme Court unanimously overturned his conviction. But the years could not be returned. The comeback: Frazier, Foreman, legends. Muhammad Ali returned to boxing in 1970. He was different. His movements a little slower, but the wisdom deeper. March 8th, 1971, New York, Madison Square Garden. The fight of the century: Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier. Two undefeated champions. One ring, it was a brutal fight. 15 rounds of hell. In the 15th round, Frazier sent Ali to the canvas with a devastating left hook. Ali got up, but he lost on points. The first defeat of his career, Ali did not break. He kept fighting, he won, he lost, he won again. And then, the greatest fight in the history of boxing. October 30th, 1974. Kinshasa, Zaire, today the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Rumble in the Jungle: Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman. Foreman was a monster. 24 knockouts in a row. He had destroyed Frazier twice. He had destroyed everyone who stood in front of him. The experts gave Ali no chance whatsoever. Ali invented a tactic that would later be called the rope-a-dope. He leaned against the ropes and let Foreman hit him. Again and again, round after round. Foreman punched. He tired. He punched. He tired more. And Ali talked to him during the punches. "Is that all you got, George? That your best shot?" By the 8th round, Foreman was completely exhausted. Ali came off the ropes and ended the fight with a series of precise punches. Foreman went down. Knockout. Muhammad Ali, world champion again, at 32 years old, after 3.5 years of forced absence. After his first defeat. After everything, he had come back to the top. Manila, the fight that nearly killed them both. October 1st, 1975. Manila, Philippines. The thriller in Manila. The third fight between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. This was not just boxing, it was war. 14 rounds of mutual destruction under unbearable heat. The temperature inside the arena reached 40 degrees Celsius. By the 14th round, neither man could stand properly. Frazier's trainer, Eddie Futch, stopped the fight after the 14th round. He would not let his fighter come out for the 15th. Ali won, but in the dressing room after the fight, he said quietly, "That was the closest thing to dying that I know of." Frazier said the same. This fight cost both of them. Ali's health after Manila was never the same again. The punches he had absorbed, thousands of punches over a career, were beginning to take their toll. Illness and courage. In 1984, Muhammad Ali publicly announced his diagnosis: Parkinson's disease. His hands trembled, his speech slowed. His movements became increasingly difficult. The man who had been faster than anyone now moved slowly. The man whose voice had thundered across stadiums now spoke quietly and with effort. Many expected him to disappear, to withdraw from public life, to guard what remained of his health in silence. Ali did the opposite. He continued to appear in public, to meet people, to travel the world. In 1990, he flew to Iraq to meet Saddam Hussein and secured the release of 15 American hostages. Alone, without a government mandate. Simply because he could. 1996. Atlanta. The Olympic Games. The opening ceremony. The whole world is watching. A man with trembling hands walks to the podium. He takes the Olympic torch and lights the flame. Muhammad Ali. The arena rose. The whole world rose. Nobody held back their tears. It was one of the most powerful moments in Olympic history. The man America had once hated for refusing to go to war stood holding the Olympic flame, and the whole world applauded. Beyond boxing, humanitarian and ambassador of peace, Muhammad Ali visited over 50 countries as an ambassador of peace. He met heads of state, religious leaders, ordinary people, in Afghanistan, in Africa, in the Middle East. Everywhere, he was received with love. Because he was not simply an American celebrity, he was a man who had sacrificed his career for his principles, and that was respected throughout the world. In 1998, the United Nations appointed him a messenger of peace. In 2005, President George W. Bush presented him with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States. That same Bush, whose war, another war, was ongoing in Iraq. That same Ali who had once refused to fight. History has a sense of humor. Over his lifetime, Ali donated tens of millions of dollars to charitable causes. He helped starving children in Africa. He built schools. He funded medical programs. He said, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." Final years. As the years passed, Parkinson's disease progressed. But Ali's spirit remained unbroken. He continued receiving visitors, signing autographs with a trembling hand, but he signed. His wife Lonnie was always by his side, faithful, patient, loving. In his final years, he could barely speak, but his eyes still shone. When a visitor mentioned boxing, the fire appeared in them, the same fire of the 12-year-old boy from Louisville whose bicycle had been stolen. June 3rd, 2016. Muhammad Ali died at a hospital in Scottsdale, Arizona. The cause? Septic shock, complicated by Parkinson's disease. He was 74 years old. President Obama wrote, "Muhammad Ali shook up the world, and the world is better for it." He was buried in his hometown of Louisville. Thousands of people came to say goodbye in the streets. Among them, ordinary residents of the city, politicians, athletes, people of all races and faiths, those who had loved him, and even those who had once hated him. The legacy of the greatest. What does Muhammad Ali leave behind? 56 wins, 5 losses, 37 knockouts, 3-time world heavyweight champion, the first and only in history, Olympic gold medal, Presidential Medal of Freedom, UN Messenger of Peace. But all of that is just numbers. The true legacy of Muhammad Ali is something else. He showed the world that an athlete can be more than an athlete, that a champion can be the voice of conscience. That fame is not just a privilege, it is a responsibility. He gave up the best years of his career for a principle, and history proved he was right. The Vietnam War ended. Segregation was abolished. The civil rights movement won. Ali stood on the right side of history when it was dangerous to do so. Every boxer today is his heir. Every athlete who speaks about politics, about justice, about their beliefs, walks the path that Ali forged. LeBron James, Colin Kaepernick, Naomi Osaka, all of them, children of Muhammad Ali. He once said, "Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare. Impossible is potential. Impossible is temporary. Impossible is nothing." His entire life was proof of these words. Muhammad Ali called himself the greatest, and he was right. Not because he won more fights than anyone, but because he won the most important fight, the fight for his own soul, for the right to be himself, for the right to believe in what he believed, for the right to say no, even when the whole world was saying yes. He floated like a butterfly, he stung like a bee, and he shook up the world. If this story moved you, leave a like. Subscribe to Top People, new stories every day. In our next episode, the story of a man who changed technology and created a device without which none of us can imagine life today. We'll be back soon.